I'm Ted Meyer, and I'm in Wonder Valley with
Cathy Allen.
So we're in your studio.
Yes.
How long has this been here?
The studio has been here since 2008.
It is in the middle of the desert,
It is.
the desert has really sort of played into your work over the years with found objects, very expansive work. You have a whole section of a little installation, town, city, I don't know how you want to describe it, out.
Sunvale Village.
And now you've got a cancer diagnosis. How has that changed for somebody who used to have a lot of energy, you found objects, you built things, and now you're having to deal with not only adapting your life, but your art?
Well, physically, yes, it has changed dramatically. I don't get out into the studio that much anymore because, I've been making sculptures that were about life-size, figurative related, with junk. One of my favorite things to do is to drive around the desert and look for places where people have dumped stuff and sift through the stuff.
Which they tend to do here,
which they
rather
tend to
than
do.
go to the dump.
Unfortunately. Now, fortunately for me, it becomes a resource, but I don't agree with dumping in the desert. My little way of cleaning up, perhaps, is using found objects. I was influenced by Noah Purifoy and Colleen Starrett, who use mixed media and found objects in their art. And I've been doing that for, 30 years, I guess, ever since school, art school. Physically demanding was definitely the thing to think about here because when I got the cancer diagnosis, of course, things changed very much. I was diagnosed with a uterine cancer with a tumor. I had a sarcoma, soft tissue, but they discovered in an exploratory surgery that I had a tumor that was mixing in with some of the nerve endings and blood vessels close to my spine. So it was inoperable. So I engaged in chemotherapy and have been engaged in chemotherapy since January of this year, which weakened me quite a bit. So I had to change my MO of making art. Now, I didn't really address the cancer until just recently, a year later. In March, I was given a prognosis that I would be dead within a year. That's pretty heavy duty. So I was making work at a tabletop, collage drawing. I have been doing altered books for years, and so picked that back up again, so that it was something I could do sitting at a table. But I wasn't thinking about the cancer. I think there was a combination of denial, or maybe an incredible amount of hope that this was just temporary, I'd get over it, and that sinking in of this could really kill me.
So what clicked? Because I had asked you a while ago about talking to me, and you weren't really doing work about it.
Right. So I guess reality set in for me that this thing, it's a rare cancer. It's a leiomyosarcoma, which is extremely rare and extremely aggressive. And they kept saying this to me, and I guess the reality finally sank in that this is tough, and I'm going to have to come to terms with some things. As an artist, I started also understanding that I have the skills to deal with this. Again, a little bit of denial, I think, was going on before. And I started thinking about the artists that I admire out of art history. I've been teaching art for many, many years and trying to inspire students to express themselves. And I just kind of started going, duh, why can't I do this? And I thought, I have the skills for this. I have the education, I have the skills for this. Let's do it. Let's just take it head on. And of course, I really think that art is good therapy.
You're more two-dimensional now.
I am.
So you're trying to save your body. First of all, you're trying to tell your story, but you're also trying to minimize wear and tear on your body.
Yes. I mean, I just can't lift like I did. I don't have the stamina. I don't have the strength to put large things together and to hold things while I'm trying to screw it in or attach things. I just don't have the physical strength to do that anymore. So I'm still, my work was about appropriation, using found things that had another purpose. I'm still doing that in the collage drawings series. So this is my little corner. This is my studio now, which is a big difference from the 1,000 square feet out there and plus the outdoors. So, of course, because of my physical limitations, I'm sort of sitting more and more, and it's difficult. I mean, I am limited, so I can't do the physical stuff, but it's frustrating. It has to be frustrating sometimes because I'm so used. My work has always been very physical. I've been a very physical person, so I have to be physical more by cutting and manipulating my hands, I guess, and manipulating paper and other materials, which seems to be working for now.
So what are we looking at?
So this is Fingerlike Projections, and the drawing part is the little cells here. This is representing the cancer cells. And then, of course, the collage stuff. These are hands that have been taken from magazines, and these things. I got this book that I've had forever, The Human Body, which is, I think, from 1950s or something. It was like a kid's textbook. So I draw from all kinds of sources and think about things that, that relate to what I'm trying to say. And a lot of symbolism, a lot of the things that you see in the compositions are symbolic of something. And here we have watches that have been cut in half. This has to do with, my time is running out. This one has acupuncture needles, because I started acupuncture process, and acupuncture is really wonderful. I'm a big fan. So this has to do with freeing the mind.
So how are people reacting to, because your work is pretty fanciful, your pre-cancer work?
Well, the reaction seems to be good. I think I seem to be getting more of a response, a more intense response. That it's really strong work, which makes sense because cancer is a strong illness, and the whole thing about this is intense. So, in experiencing that intensity, I mean, I had themes in my work for years that are intense, but I don't think they were as intensely personal as this.
I mean, talking about your own cancer, in one way it's an audience of one, but then it's a very universal subject.
Yes. It's selfish. It's about my own experience, but I'm not the only one going through this.
So when you look at the pre-cancer work, the bigger sculptures, the outdoor work, does it seem like still a part of you, or like a closed section?
It's still a part of me.
Yeah.
Always will be. But it's no longer relevant in this context.
Do you look at other work differently? Like, I have a really hard time with some work that, and even work that I do when I'm just doing a drawing and I do something cute, I'm like, that really has no bearing on the world. It's got no impact. And I found the longer I live with an illness, the more I want artwork or storytelling to really have a strong meaning to it.
Yes, but cute is okay too.
Yeah.
Silly. I mean, I've tried to get actually a sense of humor in some of the works. I don't know that it's necessarily successful. But I think all of those human emotions are important. And I think you can, sometimes trying to be silly about cancer is just another way of dealing with it. This one actually was an attempt at humor. This is obviously Alfred Hitchcock, who's considered the master of suspense in film. I don't believe in a God, the white guy in the sky. I don't really believe that. So I made him God, and I made him master, the God of suspense. So I changed the words to the God of suspense because, the cancer is they're trying to make it go away, but it's not working. So it's always sort of suspenseful.
So where do you go from here? You just keep working on the series and...
I'm going to keep working on the series. I don't know where it's going to go. I like what's happening. I like that I'm using it as therapy. So I don't want to stop.
So what's going through your head? Like when you do this work and you lay all these cells down, or you think, that's what's going on with me, these cells are multiplying?
The cancer cells, yeah, they're in almost every single piece. And sometimes it is about taking over my body. Sometimes the imagery is trying to stop it. Sometimes you'll notice that the cells are minimal in comparison to the other parts of the composition. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'm very hopeful that I'm still going to beat it. So there's a variety of things that are going on with the imagery. I tend to use color, and symbolically, like the orange and red has a tendency to be in the cancer, in the compositions, and blue and green tend to be the healing part of that. I've had a lot of meditative imagery about water and healing and calm and acceptance, and those tend to be blue, green, grayish. So I use that in the imagery as well as a positive, and the orange reds.
And are you missing doing the big pieces? Like when you drive down the desert and you see a pile of trash, you're like, oh, I really want to jump out of the car and pick up that bed spring or something?
Yes, and I still pick things up too, but I can't do anything with them.
Yeah. Well, thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ted.